Dummy Switch Pod. The boys are back. The boys
Yes,
are
yeah,
really
we
back. Back
back. Are
for
we
for
back?
2025.
No, we back. Quarters, yeah. Um, yeah, all the best we're hoping for in the rugby world for 2025 for South African rugby.
Yeah.
A lot of rugby coming up, and we saw this weekend. Yeah, not the best start, but hey, we back. We back.
And you, how are you, Chris?
Oh, Quarters, look, good to be back. Nice, refreshed, nice holiday. That message pod tour, so it was nice, so I'm good. I'm good. How's it going on your side?
Good myself. Good myself. But angry about the Lions. But we'll get to that
Hey,
later down the line. I
yeah,
think
we'll
let's
get to that.
start.
We still festive. We still festive.
Yeah. Yeah. I think even the losses you can see there's still smiles on faces. It's not at that point. It's not at that point yet. But give us a few weeks. And I think
Yeah.
it's also that thing of it being Europe where we're
Mm.
not at the level where we take it seriously, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because also,
Uh,
also it's not at the level where they are taking it seriously either.
yeah, I think maybe a bit of both, but not entirely quarters, maybe it's just things are not falling into place where you're getting the right your top guys, all your top
Yeah,
guys at the right time. But also it goes back to, unfortunately we have to read back into the pages and things that we've said, the next guys, when those guys are
yeah,
not there, the kind of system, you got to be able to generate results,
yeah.
and that's because that's the business of the game, so
But
but
we've seen that's the thing. We've seen a bit of the next guys in
mm,
two forms. It's been in rotations, and then it's also been in. I mean, when I say rotations, I mean squad players, and then it's been
yeah,
in the younger guys stepping up, the
mm.
Sam Francis, the Roche, the those kind of guys. So the Kunenes, we've
Kunene,
seen
Hakim Kunene.
so we've seen parts of both. I think I'd like to see a bit more youth.
Mm.
The squad players, I feel like certain guys did well, but yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe we are taking it seriously than what I think. I still think URC is where these guys.
Look, yeah, that's the bread and butter.
Yeah,
That's what's really put, BRC, that is the gateway. So, they have to take that seriously, definitely, But I think it's just, and I guess that's why the squads, they've been expanding, to
yeah,
try and find a solution for those type of competitions. But we've seen it's not all bad because there's some good things
yeah,
that you're seeing that, okay, there is capability here. Now it's just how do you piece it together where it's consistent. They think we're not just gonna get there if we're being realistic. In a different competition, you're not just gonna get to Champions League and dominate. You. So yeah,
yeah. We could
it's a work
Europa
in,
Cup.
but
The Sharks could do it, but not when it
yeah,
came to this level. And I think
yeah, to a
let's
different
actually
level.
let's actually
Mm,
go to the Sharks first because they're playing
yeah,
Toulouse, and Toulouse are the premier team in club
yeah,
rugby, I would say
yeah,
at the moment, and
yeah,
it's especially in Europe. I mean, I know there's
yeah.
the La Rochelles and whatever, but I mean, Toulouse are Toulouse,
Mm,
the football heritage, as they say.
mm.
So it's the measuring stick in against the top. It's the Sharks
Yeah,
who kind of are trying to build the same thing in South Africa with
yeah,
their cash injection. But
yes.
now you've got no Fassi, you've got no Esterhazen out injured, you've got
Oh,
no Masuku for squad selection reasons,
yeah.
and Dupont is in town.
And you don't have It's a Beth. Don't forget.
Yes, I forgot that one. But I mean, to me, having watched the game, I'm not a Shark supporter, but I saw a lot of Shark supporters on the timeline, and it's all doom and gloom. It's all coming crashing down. But to be honest, it should have been 3-10 at halftime. It was 13-10 at
Yeah.
halftime. At that stage, you're within striking distance, and you did not play well. So I
Mm,
don't think it's
mm.
like a train smash. Although I will say, squad selection, Fenter shouldn't have started. Kunene
Yeah.
shouldn't have started. There were lots of other options. When Davids came on, I felt like Davids was giving more direction than even
Mm,
Hendrickson.
mm,
So
mm.
I know coaching is a thing this week, but I don't think it was that bad. Okay, no, no, I'm actually lying. I'm actually lying because there's no way Fenta should have started. So yes, it's the coach's
Yeah,
fault. There's no way
yeah,
Fenta, yeah, he
yeah.
shouldn't have started.
You shouldn't have because you look at what at the same time. The thing is I understand what he was thinking, in terms of okay, Fenta, more experience. He's played there, he's
Yeah,
played in the French league, I think for Montpellier, I think under Jake White, if I'm not mistaken. And then you got Julius as well, where he can come on and, do what he did.
yeah.
But I think in terms of that approach, Francois Fenta is not that guy for the Sharks. He hasn't been since the Curry Cup,
He's not that guy in rugby.
where
He's done. That guy is done.
like no, look, to his credit, Quarters, to his credit, when he was at his peak there, he was solid.
Yes.
He was
Yeah, no,
solid.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, but like right now for the Sharks, it's not it's not giving yield,
Yeah.
and again, like you say, it goes back down to coaching, the selection. But you understand if it worked out because, like you said, they were within striking distance, you know. But the fact of the matter is that because you've got those experienced guys there,
Yeah.
you'd expect that those opportunities would be taken, that they do sort of generate because for a large part of this game, it almost felt like nothing was really happening, as such. But whenever those moments, you got to make it
Yeah.
count, and that's, I mean, the Toulouse left opportunities out there definitely, you know, um, and also the Sharks. But the fact of the matter is that you have to convert more,
Yeah.
and but then it goes back to also if you look at so far, they line out the more defense. It's one
Yeah.
of their weaknesses, and at the same time, if yes, you can have all the flair, you can have, the good attack, the players, and all of that, but if your pack is not yet,
Yeah.
that rock that they need to be, uh, and especially 5 meters from your line, where
Yeah, the first try especially I felt was very soft.
yeah,
But at the
that's the
same
tone
time,
that was set.
yeah.
It was like, yeah, no, look, we're the bosses here. You know what I mean? And then it was just the Sharks always just matching, yeah. But Toulouse just felt like they always had control, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. They were much better quality in term man for man, machine for machine,
Mm,
CV for CV. They're better.
mm,
Then on
mm,
top of that, the way that they were playing, the way that they were running angles, the way that they were offloading,
mm,
and the way that
mm,
if you looked at their line, it was kind of flat, but it was very spread out. So that the way that they were
mm,
just
mm.
managing to get it going,
Just move that ball.
and it looked like the Sharks were doing an imitation of that. It just wasn't as good.
Mm, yeah,
And I mean, in at times I felt like Jordan Hendricks, I felt like he was half baked in the sense that he was doing half of the job good, and then the second half wasn't like he make a line
yeah.
break, then he throws it
And
away.
then, yeah.
Yes, or he'll step, he'll do something, and then the complete product isn't there. But then on the flip side, his kicking was good, but that's when he moved to fullback.
Mm,
So
mm,
why wasn't he at fullback? And he played a majority of the game at fullback. So why weren't you, or he played
yeah,
a half at fullback. So why weren't
yeah.
you at fullback in the first place? So again, I tried to bail Plum out here, but some of the selection decisions, I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
thinking, that's the thing, and that's why I say the thinking process. You can, like, again, if it worked out,
Yeah,
it's a different story because they were so close, touching distance, you know. But the golfing class was also there to show that, and they're not there yet,
yeah,
and that's really in Champions Cup. If we're being honest, the Sharks they're not there yet, and
yeah,
especially if they don't have the A-listers operating at full tilt, and mind you, there were some of A-list Springbok players there, and as a team, as a squad, in terms of a club side at that competition, the Toulouse have just better synergy. They just they understood exactly what they were doing, and
yeah,
and yeah, you have to. there's nothing more to say about that, except that, the Sharks have just, look, they got to do better and they have to find that balance. I think it's really about that. They have to find that balance really quickly, in terms of who are the
Yeah.
guys that, tough decisions need to be made, and it's opportunities for youngsters, that they got to be ready,
I
you
felt
know?
Penkler played well. He's one of the guys that come in and done a job. But
Mm,
Kunene, you're kind of like, if you're him, you've what the last month, you've kind of just
mm,
been there at the Shark Tank, not playing,
mm.
just doing weights, holding barge bags. Then they're like, okay, you're playing
Played Curry
Toulouse.
Cup.
Yeah,
And then now,
when
boom,
yeah, now you must play
Toulouse.
Toulouse. You're
Yeah.
also like, you're like, what's going on here? What's going on? So
Man, I was doing gym now.
yeah, he was
Hey,
doing gym. So yeah, they need a better balance. I
yeah,
really I don't
there's
understand
got
why
to
you
be.
wouldn't. Yeah, yeah, like you said, they need to find some kind of a balance. But like I saw them afterwards in the boardroom. They had the
Mm,
brains trust from Toulouse
yeah,
and the Sharks. There were a
they're
few
showing
plates
ideas, which
there.
is good.
The snacks were done, and then they had the
Yeah,
PowerPoint presentation. They're sharing the knowledge, the transfer of knowledge
yeah,
here. They're trying to get
yeah.
something deeper. So I
Mm,
guess it can only benefit them in the future.
yeah,
Hopefully they
and I
learn
think
from
that
this.
can. Yeah, and I think it only benefit the competition,
Yeah,
because in order for it to have more pool, the South African teams, one of the guys has got
yeah,
to go deep,
yeah,
and also, get the trophy. That's really what it is, and it can only be better for the game,
yeah. And
and look
to
for
be
the
fair,
Sharks
I
as
actually
well.
think I actually think the Sharks are their team. I actually think the
Yeah,
Sharks are
they
their team.
can.
That's
Yeah,
that's
they can,
gonna,
and
they
that's.
were the not this past season, the season before in Europe. I think they also had a good showing in France.
Mm.
So to me, they're the team that I believe can go the furthest in this kind of a competition.
Look, they made the big play with the Rock, with the Rock Nation, man. That was
Yeah,
already from there. You knew that was the big play to say, and they
yeah,
made it. They said that this is what they want to do. And yeah, the road to the top is not easy. And
yeah,
along the way, I think some of the guys they're going to have to make some tough decisions. But there's, I think, opportunity for a lot of the
yeah,
other guys in terms of how they need to bolster that squad going forward and find that balance to really challenge and compete across, all that's where I think all the teams are what they're fighting for. And that's then the question of the depth that's coming through as well,
yeah,
where the guys they need to be at that level, and also the coaching, if we're being honest, because geez, let's be real, Plum is like he's the only sort of outside influence in terms of South Africa, and that's South African rugby, the nature of it. It's always,
yeah,
closed in like that, And yes, the assistants, some of the guys maybe they'll come from elsewhere, but if you look at Europe and those guys, it's best man for the job, at the
yeah,
time, and even the South African guys go there as well, So
yeah.
it's another thing maybe as well, But the Sharks are showing the way in terms of, like you said, in the boardroom, But yeah, still
Yeah.
a long way
We'll
to go,
see.
Champions Cup.
We'll see. It's still early in the year. We're gonna be still giving grace. Even in 2024, we
Mm.
were very nice. It's time to start saying guys are trash. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
we'll
but
still
defense has got to
give.
go. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's been done since Curry Cup, man.
yeah. I don't think he's up to this level anymore. And I think it does a
Mm.
disservice to guys around him even. But
Yeah,
yeah, moving along. Stormers 40-0. Great
yeah,
performance. Stormers, we felt it when we were in the stadium. There's
yeah.
energy there. There's there's
Hey,
there's that thing. There's
and
that thing,
I know there is that thing, and they love that man. Hey, they love that man.
Yeah, they love money.
Hey,
They love
look,
money.
money, and look, and you have to understand why, and
Yeah.
you have to continue to back him. But DHL Stadium is a different sort of environment, and once they get going,
Yeah.
and when it's hot like that, it can be unbearable if you're not
It's
used
like
to
when
it.
they said Pogba buried a hyena at Old Trafford. That's why there was problems going on there. I feel like they've buried something. I don't know what they buried under that soil, but it gives some kind of energy. I really it
Yeah, it
gets the
does, eh?
guys going and looking
Mm,
at that game. Roche came in, Similani came in, new center pairing. Similani, obviously, we know he hasn't really kick-started.
Yeah.
Ruiz was also on the bench, but there's more looking at that center combination and seeing like, okay, what are they gonna do?
Mm,
And they
mm.
came out on top. I mean, I've seen Roshan
Yeah.
in Curry Cup, good player, but the guy that stepped up even more out of the two was Similani.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He did. And but it's just that I think the storm will suit him, and it's when he's confident and he backs
Yeah,
himself, that's what he can do. And this is the sort of the spark that he showed, even when,
yeah,
it was green versus gold or whatever it was, and he was there, those conversations, he was close, So yeah, you can only hope that he can just kick on, and continue, and because look, it's a good showing, and they need that because it's always
yeah.
been Ronell that's he's been the mainstay there, and now they've got a
My thing is,
difference,
he wasn't even Similani wasn't even second choice center. It was Carl's son, or they're gonna bring Hartenberg in, or they're gonna do something else.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be Similani. Similani
Mm.
was struggling to get a Curry Cup game, so at
Yeah.
least now it feels like he's back in that picture,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I'm
It
happy
feels. I
about.
I think he's back. I think he's back. I mean,
Yeah,
it's no bigger stage. It's Champions Cup.
so we'll see. Hopefully, he can take this form next week, and then we can
Mm.
also see some URC. Even if they put him on the wing, I don't mind. Let's just see the guy playing more rugby. For me,
Yes.
also in this game, the scrums terribly officiated. I think the first scrum, the loose head went in sideways, and then the
Mm.
ref said sideways. Then he continued to do it the whole game, and then he just continued to the
Yeah.
point where Mahaba got a yellow card. But what I don't understand about it is you saw he was sideways in the first place, and then he carried on doing it. So it's not like you didn't pick it up. And
Yeah.
this guy just continued to do it. So I don't understand that part of the game. The other thing for me was that the Stormers looked comfortable throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even at 14, there was one point where I was watching it, and I was 14-0, and it felt like it was 40 already.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what I say. It's just I think that even that environment and also the intensity that they play with, their willingness,
Yeah,
to balls to the wall, the willingness to play. They play.
yeah,
That's the thing. I think that's what it is that they play,
yeah.
and it gets, and when it works out for them, it just it really it works out.
You can see
They get on top of teams.
Double is telling them, Khalant, I want to see you. Look, I want to see.
Yeah.
Build. You can see he
Play,
build. Yes, play,
play,
play. Yeah,
you know.
you can see
Yeah, man.
he's telling them those. It's that kind of environment that you can see. Khalant is just
Mm,
making chances, chances, chances. Man of the
yeah.
match. He sparked almost everything. You've got
Mm.
Angara that is now also, like I said, you've got the guys that are squad players and the youth
Yeah,
players. He's a squad
yeah,
player. He's come in. We know they announced Reinach today, so he's also
yeah.
looking at job security and he
Yeah,
wants to be there. Devet is he came off the bench, but he's going. So Angara
yeah.
put in a good performance himself. I
Mm,
felt like he was almost perfect. The kick for Lubbock, the little plays, even Sitoli's try.
yeah.
It was the more that he broke from, and then they
Yes.
picked and went. So again, performances you can talk about Similani stepping up, but Kalant and Angara for me, they were
They were
great,
good.
great performances. And then
Yeah, especially,
And Lubbock.
yeah. Don't forget, money. Ay, ay, ay. Hey, no, hey, money, Pumbaye. That's gonna be the next one. Money, Pumbaye, man. Because hey, look, the guys, they really they played, and it just looked like the shackles weren't there.
Yeah,
And look, and they're getting momentum. Yeah, fine. Yes, scrums were just it was a mess, but
yeah,
just in terms of their intensity and in their carrying, in their intent, I think that's really that difference, and they really did go out there
yeah.
to just to put them to the sword. They didn't. they didn't play. They didn't play with him. They showed him. And if you look at it, it should have been more.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, it really should have been more. But yeah, solid for the Stormers, and I think they're one of those teams because of that that can also they can push it as well as much as the Sharks. In terms of the Rock Nation man and all
uh,
of that. But
I don't think so.
but I'm talking in terms of that
Yeah,
because
I
they,
know
they
what you
can,
mean. I know what you
yeah.
mean. But I believe they have that in URC. That's where
Okay.
I think that just the way the tournament is, the way over the past 2 seasons, that thing that I even believed last season that they could still make a run. Like
Mm, mm.
obviously they didn't, but there was still that thing where you're like, these guys have this thing in this competition.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know if they're there yet. I don't know if they're there yet in Europe. You say they
yeah.
are. We'll see. We'll
I
see.
think they are, man. I think that, but okay, look, especially when they're at home, they're a different prospect.
Yeah, at home.
That's the thing. Hey, at home, and yeah, but I really think if they can just capture that and go with that play,
Yeah,
even when they just say play, this is who
yeah.
we are, and yeah, yeah, take a shot, you know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But hey, then you're gonna be doing play with Blommetjies. It's no longer Kalanch when they start taking. That's
uh
now when it'll start to fall
leave the
apart. But
Welshman alone, bro. I mean, leave.
but yeah, I think also for me, Dion Ferry has been a
He's a
big
difference. Big
calming
difference.
presence in this side. That
He's
guy
a
is
big
he's
difference, man.
literally he's the heart of that team.
Yeah, he's a difference. He's that
So
guy.
mm,
He's that guy. Remember we were saying they don't have that guy, and
yeah,
look when he's come back. Game against the Sharks easily. If he's not there, they lose. You
yeah,
know, they
yeah.
lose. I'll just say yes. There are other factors, but he just him.
Yeah. And we're gonna see Russ
And
also start to
yeah,
claw his way back, and he's also someone that brings big presence. So
and he showed a
I think,
little bit. That
yeah,
no, this is what they've been missing. Because he's still that go forward that he's got.
the
The
worst,
advantage
the
line.
worst is kind of over for the Stormers. I know I said in the beginning of the season it's a sinking ship, and I said that because now the waters are calmer. They've got Dion Free back. They've got
Yeah,
Ruiz back. They've got Sasha back to an extent. I know he's in and out, in and out, in and out. I personally,
yeah,
I don't like to kind of judge players on injuries too much. Even speaking on them, I don't. I just feel bad for the guy that he's in out, in out. It's
yeah. Ish,
unfortunate
must get that
because this is
chicken.
how guys start getting branded as injury prone and what, and
Oh,
they start pointing fingers and even then saying that it's because he's playing center. I like him as a center. I like him as a
aye.
strike runner. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he can play
Uh,
that thing. For him, I think it's other things. Sometimes in life, if you veer off a path, I'm channeling my inner Steve Compella. Yeah, if you veer off the path a little bit, that individual or those, there's things that you will encounter that you don't know, and they can disrupt, and you won't see them because you don't
okay.
know.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
there's
saying.
outside influences possibly, but but we'll see
Just saying.
yeah, yeah, just saying
And
thoughts
I'm
and
not talking
prayers with
about
him.
people. I'm just talking about these things. There's things.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk Bulls, Lions. I think
Yeah,
let's go Lions first. Lions, Tambwe versus his former employer, Montpellier versus Lions. It was a
yeah,
stronger touring squad than what they normally take. But at the same time, they started Nico Stain and Sam Francis. Mone van den Berg, he's on Bok related rest, so they didn't take him. And yeah, for me, Nohamba should have played. Vandenberg should have
yes,
played. That was the only way they were going to get a result. They're
mm,
playing in an atmosphere that these guys are not used to. They're
mm,
playing where experienced players can feel the intensity and they don't know what they're doing. It was a dogfight. They were playing Corpus Stump
yeah,
for a lot of the first 20 minutes. And the problem is you can front up. And Klabakanya was fronting up, Marius Low was fronting up, guys were making tackles, Mpeku was also standing up. But the problem is if you don't have any way to progress up the field or any way to ignite some kind of spark to relieve yourself, you're just going to be defending the whole time. And
Yeah,
that's the problem where it's like, okay, if you realize that we're not going to get go forward, we're less physical or whatever, then it's like, okay, we need to be clever and do something with the backs.
yeah,
Sam Francis is good. He's not that type of a player. Nico Stein is that player to an extent. It's not the kind of creativity and imagination you're going to get from a Nohamba, you're going to get for a Vandenberg. So there's no way out. That was the problem for a large part of the game is that you're just standing up physically, but there's what is the plan beyond this?
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
my problem. That's my problem that I have with the coaching, especially is because you're leaving your players out to dry. I can't look at that game and say like these guys played badly or this or that. I have to look at the coaches and say what was the plan? Because it looks like you just
yeah,
hung these guys out to dry.
yeah. Or then again, if there was a plan, if there was, then
Yeah,
that means the coaches picked the wrong guys to execute the plan because the plan was not executed. If there was a plan, you
yeah,
know. So I think it also, like I agree with you. Yes, Nohamba is leaving, but that's the thing. It's a resource that you have. Utilize it. You know, he's gonna give you more. It doesn't help
and
just
why not release him then? Release him
yeah,
just because then
yeah,
you won't have to pay his wages because
you
he's
know,
sitting in a reduced role. You're sitting in a place where you're playing Sam Francis, who's barely had three caps. We've got no direction. I'm not blaming him, but it's
no,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
this is a steep mountain to climb. So why?
yeah,
And the thing is, there's also the same thing is going on with Marius Lowe, where they know this guy is going to leave, but they're kind of forced to play him. And then this, I think JC Pretorius, I don't know what's happening with him because he was also man of the match, man of the match. Next thing he's on the bench.
mm.
Last season how well he was going. So I think inside that team, there's problems, and we're getting to a
And that
stage where
administration,
we're getting to the stage where you're building up a team, and then it's going to collapse again.
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay, let me ask you this: if we say November should have started, right? 9 or 10, I say 10.
10, I say 10, I say 10. But
I say 10.
even if he plays 9, then Niku Stain
Yeah,
should have played 10.
yeah. Like you're still on the field, and he can still give you something, give you a chance.
Yeah.
Give you a chance.
So
Yeah, but I
again,
think
for me,
also
it's
administration and also again the coaching with the selection as well,
yeah,
because and also yes, they were fronting up, but then the Montpellier just I think as well also by virtue of being at home, the more intensity,
yeah,
more energy in what they were doing, and they were also a bit clearer in terms of what they wanted to
yeah,
do as well,
and
so
very direct. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, not
Moving
much.
on, moving on to the Bulls. The Bulls versus Castra. Very rotated team from the Bulls, and it was just one of those also hope for the best. I felt like the first half it was kind of the opposite to the Lions, where they settled better and they were also more clear in what they wanted to do. They were able to progress the ball up the field, get territory, front up better. It was close in the first half, and then it all fell apart. So again, but I think it all fell apart because the quality again is just the quality of players is like it
Yeah.
was too rotated. I think Jake
Mm,
White is just like we focusing on URC. That's
yeah.
where it's make or break because there's no combinations here. There's no. It's third choice
Yeah.
guys. It's they tried, I guess, but again, it's that cauldron of playing in France, playing
Mm,
away.
yeah.
Nothing
But
more to say, really.
I'll say this, maybe in terms of, I guess you have to start somewhere in terms of your players, your younger players, or
Yeah.
emerging guys in your squad getting that exposure, you know. But at the same time, you also want to, you know, prioritize that feel good factor of, you know, like you say, yes, that first half, you know, solid enough, but you know, converting because now it's gonna be difficult now
Yeah.
psychologically to win now there in France. You know, you have to
Yeah.
quickly get over that. You know what I mean, and continuously build that. So I think it's almost a double-edged sword because to get there, you have to take a beating. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To dish out beatings at that, you're gonna take beatings as well. You know, before you know.
My thing is, who are the emerging players here? You've just
Mm,
got
oh,
Jan Hendrik Wessels, and
mm,
that's who
mm,
they have. The
mm,
Springboks have said is an emerging player, but
mm,
everyone else there is kind of like it's squad
mm.
players. It's Nizam Kars, Janchis,
Yeah, so you gotta
Van
make
der
changes, eh?
Lindes. There's not Manchezis. These are like squad guys.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like for me, those guys are who they are. It's
there's no,
what
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
not you're not gonna build some fantastic culture around these guys that's gonna take you to away wins. It's like no,
mm,
you need to play some more of the starters, and then that's how you'll get better results, you'll get better execution.
yeah. And also, you know, in that process, also exposing more of the youngsters, you know, because maybe what are they looking at it maybe in a different way to say, you know, Europe infuse more youngsters, you know, so that you can, then you've got more emerging guys, you know,
Jake,
maybe.
he wants to win today. He just brings old guys. It's
But I
fine.
mean, but then his horses are not winning, my man. They're
He
not
doesn't
right
care.
now.
He doesn't care. As he wins USC, that's what he cares about. So I really think
Yeah,
I think he doesn't care. I think he
yeah,
doesn't care. I mean, he did, like I said,
mm,
first half
yeah,
okay, but more than that, I just think there's a level of the only way that you're gonna win that game is if you put in a stronger bench
yeah, yeah.
or you start with stronger guys and then you load your bench a bit more from those. So it's one of the two. We
Mm,
can sit here and try and dissect it all you want. They just
but
rotated too much. The players just
yeah,
weren't good enough. They're also playing away.
mm,
It's tough. So it's like when they bring second team to us, we're gonna beat them
yeah,
because we.
yeah. True, true.
So
Yeah.
any closing remarks from you? I think yeah, it's another European round this week. So
Yeah, it's another European round. You know, hopefully it's not as bleak. You know, at least we can see better.
yeah,
And yeah, and then we know after that, you know, we're back
yeah,
home. After that, we're back home. You know, but yeah, look, I think I think we'll see a better weekend this coming
yeah,
weekend. Mm.
yeah. I think so too. But Cash, watch out. I think that's it from us, guys. Thanks so much.
We
Nice to
out, we
listen.
out.